In the small, forgotten town of Eldridge, where whispers of old legends clung to the foggy air, there was a house that no one dared to enter. The Whitmore House stood on the outskirts, shrouded in ivy and decay, a relic of a time long past. It was said to be cursed, its history stained with the blood of those who once lived there. For years, the townspeople avoided it, passing down stories of the eerie occurrences that plagued its halls. The legend spoke of a family, the Whitmores, who mysteriously vanished one stormy night. Their screams were said to echo through the town, carried by the howling wind, until they abruptly stopped.
That was decades ago.
Now, only their empty, decrepit mansion remained, a silent sentinel over the town's darkest secrets. Erica, a young journalist with an insatiable curiosity for the macabre, decided to investigate the house for her latest piece. She was driven by the thrill of uncovering the truth buried beneath layers of fear and superstition. Armed with her camera and flashlight, she crossed the threshold of the Whitmore House. The air inside was heavy, suffused with the scent of mildew and something else she couldn't quite identify, something metallic. Her footsteps echoed as she moved from room to room, each one more dilapidated than the last. She photographed everything: the crumbling wallpaper, the broken furniture, the ominous portraits whose eyes seemed to follow her every move. As she descended into the basement, the sense of unease grew stronger. The walls down here were covered in strange symbols, carved deep into the stone. Erica's flashlight flickered, casting shadows that danced and twisted in unnatural ways. She felt a chill run down her spine, but she pressed on, driven by the need to uncover the truth. In the center of the room, she found an old, dusty book. Its pages were yellowed and brittle, filled with handwritten notes and sketches of bizarre, nightmarish creatures. As she began to read, a sense of horror settled over her. The book detailed dark rituals and sacrifices, all performed within the very house she now stood in. Suddenly, she heard a noise, a soft whispering, coming from the darkness around her. She turned, her flashlight cutting through the gloom, but there was nothing there. The whispering grew louder, more insistent, forming words she couldn't understand. Panic gripped her as she realized she was not alone. The shadows seemed to come alive, reaching out towards her with ghostly hands. Erica screamed and ran, stumbling up the stairs and through the hallways that now seemed to stretch endlessly. The house was no longer just a building. It was a living entity, determined to trap her within its walls. She burst through the front door, gasping for breath, and didn't stop running until she was back in the safety of her own home. The experience left her shaken, but she knew she had to write her story. The Whitmore House held a dark, sinister power, one that fed on fear and despair. As she typed her article, she couldn't shake the feeling that the shadows were still watching her, waiting for the moment when they could drag her back into the darkness.